G'day everyone, Jason here with an issue of Aarrgh. This one's a little different than normal. A friend recently went over to Singapore and bought me this set, which is a Singapore cable car. It is a micro block or nano block style, sort of off-brand Lego small miniature build. So I thought I would build this today and show everyone what's actually in the set. So it does come with a sticker sheet, a couple of bags of very micro scale pieces. The base plate's a little bit bent from being in the box. So it's not, it's technically fake Lego. So I've used the Aarrgh sort of sub-genre of my videos here. But this was from a good friend, Aarrgh, who headed over to Singapore recently and saw this and thought of me. So we're going to try to build it. There's a whopping great instruction sheet for such a small set. So hopefully I'll be able to follow this. So let's open up these pieces and get underway. So obviously this is in a sped up process, but man, these pieces, they're tiny. Some of them won't clutch on, some of them will over clutch, and you've got to really force them on. It's a real mixed bag, and again, it felt like that classic scene from The Simpsons with Homer, with his fingers too big to dial the phone. I really struggled with some of the smaller pieces on this, and then there's little just weird things which again off-brand sort of Lego style. Like the little white piece at the front there is supposed to be a boat in the harbour, but it doesn't actually sit on because the front section basically rests against another block. So the instructions show that it actually just goes in on an angle. It just sits there, doesn't really grab onto anything. The same for the sign. The Singapore cable car sign is two pieces that just sort of slot in and sit there on an angle but don't actually attach on an angle. They move, it moves all the time. I had to put it back in place while I was building it. Yeah, just little things like that. You get used to the sort of the quality and the ability to build on different angles and things like that in Lego, which these sort of cheaper knockoff sets don't have. But you can see we're building up the landscape here, so there's a little beachfront. There's some water, there's obviously some houses and trees. This is the main sort of structure for the actual cable car that we're building. There is also some sort of tower with a cloud themed sort of thing on top and a flag. This is another part that did totally confuse me. So we're building the two rails here for the actual thing, and they don't actually sit on an angle. They just sort of sit slightly off on both ends on an angle, so they're not actually joined properly. As a OCD Lego builder, these sort of builds really frustrated me. And this one in particular, the building the cable car, I had to rebuild it a couple of times because every time I put pressure on it or tried to join something together, I crushed the set and pieces went everywhere. So I did eventually get it done. So here it is in all of its glory. So this is the Singapore cable car. So it's a very big cable car by comparison to the landscape. I'm assuming it's not in scale, and there are a lot of spare pieces. So the pieces themselves are actually substantial sort of quality. They are quite solid, but not all of them had the same clutch power as you would expect from Lego. So that is the Singapore cable car.